3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to another episode of Questlog, the weekly show about video games old and new. My name is Tyler Everett. This is episode 42, and I am joined by the lovely Maxwells. How's it going, guys?
Good, good. How are you doing tonight?
Here. I'm doing all right. I've been riding my bike to and from work most days that I can't get a ride. And so I'm a little more tired than I have been, but
it's good.
going from basically, you know, like stationary and sitting always to all of a sudden riding a bike 10 miles a day.
You're an athlete.
That's a shock. Oh yeah. Sponsor me, Gatorade.
You want to be a champ, you got to fuel like a champ.
That's right. You gotta replace those electrolytes. But yeah, so no, that's been actually kind of cool and different and something new. But yeah, I'm by the end of the day, I'm just my legs are jello and I don't want to move anymore. So yay, video games. Yeah, what's new with you guys? How you doing?
I saw dinosaurs today.
Okay, all right.
I cleaned up poop.
What's that?
I cleaned up poop.
You definitely did not get the right end of the stick on that one.
No.
Oh.
You got the bad end of the stick, whatever that. I don't think I'm using that phrase right, but that's okay.
They had a dinosaur event at the Birchwood Mall here.
Oh, yes, I know about this.
The empty husk where Sears used to be. And the sad, decaying skeleton that is the Birchwood Mall.
Yeah, I didn't know that Sears was gone, but that makes sense.
Yeah, they had
malls aren't doing so great these days here in 2017. No. It's not a good time to be in the mall biz.
Yeah, they had a lot of big animatronic dinosaurs set up and some games and,
Did you try the VR?
We didn't try the VR. It had a sort of a traveling carnival feel to it. Just... Everyone looked like they were someone's kids running all the booths, and there's just an air of just sadness and desolation hanging over the whole thing. But Levi had fun.
That's good. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that.
I'm sure tomorrow night they're going to pack up all their shit and travel on to another city.
Take it down to another mall that's all decrepit.
So,
hey, you know what?
Dinosaurs.
That's fun. Yeah, dinosaurs.
Got to see a Triceratops.
What color was it?
What dinosaur did he ride?
He didn't. It didn't look as impressive in person as it was made out to be.
Of course not.
Yeah, it was kind of janky.
It's just guys with like sock puppets. Like, not quite that bad, huh?
We'll call it This Land.
Well, cool. Well, why don't we jump into what we have been playing? I had a thing picked out here first. What was I going to talk about? Dead Cells, that's the one. Hey, Brian.
Hey, man.
We talked about Dead Cells a couple times. You've played this, a couple times now.
Yep.
What made you want to pick up Dead Cells again?
I don't really know. I just wanted to pick up something that was just kind of run-based, that you can just pick up and play for a little bit and then walk away from and not give a shit about any story or saves or any of that.
Yeah.
Like I played it a couple months ago. It's still in early access. It's really, really, really good. Just the controls are so tight and like the progression's satisfying. It feels a lot like Rogue Legacy, that kind of, I died. Okay, well, I made a little bit of progress. Time to start over and keep going.
The way the combat and movement looks, it reminds me a lot of Mark of the Ninja.
Yeah.
Yup.
Huh. I didn't really play that one much. It's it's got a very strong Castlevania Symphony of the Night feel to it. Yeah, the controls are so important in these kind of platformers, and they really nailed it on this. So it's still in early access, so I played for a few hours, and then I have to make myself stop because, I don't want to burn out on it before they finish it.
It has a weird, it's a weird problem to have. Like, hey,
Yeah.
I really like this game and it's really good, but I don't really want to finish it before it's finished.
Yeah, 2017.
Right?
It's a different world. I got a few, early access games on the back burner now. This one, Pit People, it's early access, and I had a lot of fun with it, but they ain't done with it.
It's so crazy because, like, that game has been in development forever. It's just... I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago. At some point, there's this kind of fatigue. Like, once I know about it for a long time, there's this kind of, like, timer in my brain that goes, like, oh, well...
If it launches a year after it was, first available, you're like, I don't care anymore.
Kinda, yeah. I'm kind of like, oh, it was, not compelling enough to keep me going then. Even if that wasn't the case, like, there's something in my brain that's like, oh, that's an old game that didn't do anything for me, so I'm not too worried about it.
I think this one's compelling enough, and so is Pit People. And just I don't want to, play through the content they have and sink 20 hours into it, and then I don't know.
Then find out that they like redid the whole starting experience and made it way better, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I just want to, wait until it's finished before I really, earnestly dive into it.
Sure. This looks really cool, though. I love the animation style and everything. It's
super well done, yeah. And there's no story or anything to give a shit about at all. It's just, I don't know,
there's this guy with a star-looking face.
Yeah, like you die and then you fucking like slither out of the tubes back in the prison cells and stand up, and I don't know why, but okay. Got my sword and my bow.
Got some kind of like laser sword looking thing, and yeah.
There's a lot of different power-ups to get.
It's real cool. This definitely looks more my speed than the other kind of one of these that you tried and I tried. With the hook shot thing, what was that one called?
Flint Hook.
Flint Hook, yeah.
Yeah, that didn't quite land for me.
Me either. But yeah, this looks more my speed.
Yeah.
It's cool, man.
Very much recommend.
Yeah, I'll have to check that one out. It's I need one of these, This I've got a few that are like waiting in the wings for me. This and
Hollow Knight.
Hollow Knight, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm kind of holding off on that until it comes to the Switch, so you can play it.
Yep. Waiting patiently. They say it's like close to done. I read a thing back at the end of June that said it was like they were finalizing it and getting it ready. Like the developing part is done. They're just getting ready to push it out. So should be any day now.
Switch needs more games.
That is true. That is true. Why don't we talk about a game we haven't mentioned in days? Kat, you played Breath of the Wild.
I did.
Yeah, what'd you think?
I like it. I got a lot further than I did in the initial one, where I don't even think I got past the first shrine or even to the first shrine. But I'm enjoying it. I first started, they really beefed Link up this time around. I played Wind Waker. I played, was it Minish Cap?
Mm-hmm.
Played Minish Cap. I just haven't taken the time to sit and play it, but it so happens I was in a car for 4 hours yesterday.
That's a good time to try Zelda.
Yep. Oh, and it's funny because I think this is the Wind one, where this is the one I asked you questions about, whether usually when you go into a shrine, you put your tablet down to enter it, and then usually, so far, you've put your tablet to like find your power out. So I was walking around for probably 10 minutes looking for that thing to put my tablet in so it would give me the power. And then I realized I was just given a paraglider. There's probably just a way to play with the paraglider. And sure enough, that's what I found out.
Yeah, I think once off the Great Plateau, they pretty much stopped giving you powers, right?
Yeah, and they stopped giving you any sort of like. I knew it was an open world. I know that's something you guys love. That's something that I find frustrating because I'll go into an area and I get one-shotted. Well, where exactly should I be going? I don't need my handheld, but I would like this is a level X area and this is a level,
Yeah, it's tough because I know that's a valid complaint from a lot of people about this particular one. It's like there's a line between, hey, here's a free open world and there's lots of stuff to do and check it all out, and just here, go figure it out, and that it definitely falls much further in that camp. Unless you go exactly where they tell you to go and start doing the story stuff there, that kind of leads you in the right direction, but you don't have to do any of that. You can just get off the Great Plateau and wander any which way you want and get in all kinds of trouble.
Brian told me that some people will just straight up go after Ganon, right away. There's been people that have done that, and that's pretty fascinating. It's pretty interesting. I like how the game plays. Other than that, being used to that kind of game, I like that you can switch your weapons. You can have multiple weapons of each type. It's kind of like Horizon is. I've got different strengths of bows, and if it breaks, I'm not in too much trouble because I've got backups. Now I don't know. Further in the game, do the weapons last longer? Because I feel like I get like a couple hits in and then it shatters.
Yeah, it's the low level stuff is really, really, really fragile.
Yeah, it's like swing, throw, grab whatever weapon you just dropped, repeat.
Yeah, the later on in the game, the durability gets a lot longer, and you'll start finding even some of the kind of mid range stuff. There's almost a D&D, more RPG side of it, where some of the weapons can roll with certain attributes. So some of them will get like durability up or attack up, or different things like that kind of augment them. So you might find like a soldier's broadsword, but it's durability up, so it'll last longer than a normal one would. So you'd hang on to that.
I like that I could hit with someone's arm. That was kind of fun.
The skeleton arms, yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty neat. And it's neat. They've really put thought into this, because when you're standing there with it on your back, you can hear the fingers clank and move.
Yeah, the bones rattle and stuff. Yeah, it's real.
It's a beautiful game. The world is gorgeous.
Yeah, the running around's real good.
Yeah, he keeps saying, "Oh, try it, just play it," because he knows it's probably something I'll get into. And
I figured if anything was going to redeem the
family.
Family.
I thought if anything was going to hook you, it'd be the shrines, because they're very puzzly. They're very like.
Well, I said
that was what I thought too.
They take me 5 minutes. There's got to be something more to these shrines. Like
some of them are super
they'll get harder.
quick. Like, some are just like, oh, that's it. I flew across the thing and I'm done. But some are a little more in depth than that.
Oh, those laser things are evil.
The Guardians, yeah.
Yeah,
I like that I can scale things, though, because I had to avoid one, so I just climbed on top of the building and avoided it.
Yep, that's a totally valid thing. Like crawling through the grass is another. Sometimes I do that when I don't want to fight one of these things.
Crawl?
Well, you crouch. You can crouch.
Oh, crouch.
Sneak your way around. And,
Yep.
Yeah, it's.
At this point, it's kind of like the Matrix. It's like seeing an agent in the Matrix. You see one, you run.
Yep. It takes a while to get up to fighting them. This is the Trial of the Sword. This is what you're seeing on the screen right now. So it's like a bunch of really crazy shrines, all one after another, and they're all combat focused. So that's something that you'll do late. Well, if you keep with it, it's something that you might do later in the game. But yeah, I'm glad that you're checking it out. It's one of my favorite games of all time. And
now I just got out of the plateau, and I'm going to my first person that I was told to go see.
Yeah.
When you go see the next person and finally meet up with them, do they tell you, hey, you need to go like east or you need to go south, like the king did, or?
I want to say
because that could be the roundabout way that they try to keep direction going.
Yeah, there'll be like a point on the map that says like go to this town or go to this place, and or they'll give you some kind of general direction of what you should be looking to do. I don't want to spoil anything.
Why is Link naked, by the way?
Yeah, part of this trial is that you don't, like, it starts you off with absolutely nothing. All of your gear and armor and everything goes away, and you have to just kind of scavenge.
It's a survival.
Yeah. Yep, it's definitely designed for late game, because I went back and tried to do this like as soon as you possibly could on my hardcore master mode playthrough, and I can't beat it. It's too hard. So yeah, but yeah, you do most of it naked because you just don't find any clothes during the thing until like towards the end. But yeah, it's something. But yeah, I think if being like super alone and feeling like the world doesn't care about you at all doesn't turn you off from the game, then I think it'll be a win for you. So I think I've nailed that down to pretty much the biggest part that Brian doesn't like. Is like
it's hard to put my finger on it. I don't know, just like the third person open world games, like they're appealing to me on the surface, but it's hard for me to stick with them. I don't know why.
It's the same thing with Horizon for you though, because you're like, oh, I'm gonna pick up and play Horizon. I'm like, not until I'm done.
Yeah, it's something that I have to make myself do, and I don't like that feeling.
That's not what games are for.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of story here. Like exploring the world and just kind of, like really getting into the combat and exploration parts of it are really what kept me going through it, and what reminded me of when I was a kid playing the original Legend of Zelda with no direction, nothing telling you where to go, just kind of like running around Hyrule until I found something to do and found a new dungeon to explore and that kind of stuff. That's what made me originally fall in love with the game. Yeah, what's up?
What was the game previous to this one?
Skyward Sword?
Skyward Sword.
Which was not real well received.
Now, did the story of Skyward Sword, the end of it, lead into this one, where Calamity Ganon happened?
I think this is kind of a sort of a prequel in the story, isn't it? This is earlier in the history.
They don't come out and say it. It almost seems like... It seems like this is either... No, this... I think I can say this is way after all of the games, I think. I think this is like super in the future. Because...
Well, Link's fan.
Yeah, there's... In all of the Zelda games, there's this kind of idea that you're playing like a different generation of Link in each one. Skyward Sword,
incarnation.
I think Skyward Sword was meant to be kind of the origin of everything. It tells the story of how the Master Sword got made.
Gotcha.
So it's like in almost every other Zelda game, you acquire the Master Sword. So that I think that was supposed to be kind of the starting point for the series. And then I don't think they've come out and said it, but based on that, this feels like it's like maybe the last game beyond all of these, and like maybe like a millennia beyond the other ones. It seems like takes place much further in the future. So
can I say I love the cooking mechanism, and I love that you can harvest. It made me feel like I was in WoW again, like I'm getting all the stuff and I'm cooking. We're in the car and he's like, oh, did you hear the cooking music? And I'm like, no, I just threw stuff on the fire. He's like, no, go find a cooking pot and light it up, put it on fire with your torch. And I was like, oh, there's cooking music. And because I didn't see the temperature gauge and I almost froze.
Oh.
So I made some spicy food so I could stay warm.
It reminds me exactly of the way cooking works in Don't Starve. It's like it's the exact same thing, and so I knew you would dig this, like, because it's like our whole thing is like we got to make some meatballs and we got to make some.
We make tons of meatballs.
We got to get the stuff for the meatballs, and that's totally what this reminded me of. But yeah, it's really something. I'm glad you're digging it. Yeah, if you
Yeah,
need
I
any
like it.
pointers or need any tips, I've played through the game like two and a half times now. So
How long does the playthrough usually take you?
I mean, spread across 3 different saves, I have about 160 hours into it, I think.
Okay.
You can go kill
Just for
Ganon
one
as soon as
game?
you think you're ready, though, right? Like you've
Yeah,
chosen to spend a lot of time exploring. You can just be like,
yeah.
okay, I'm strong enough. I'm going to go do it now. Or I'd rather run around some more. And
My first
explore.
playthrough, I did almost 100%. Like, I got all of the heart pieces and stamina stuff I could. I did every shrine. I did all of the divine beasts, which you'll find out about soon. Like, I tried to do everything except for, like, all the dinky little side quests. And so I think that playthrough I probably had 60 hours, 70 hours into or something like that. Like, I played it a lot before I decided to beat the game. You could probably get through it in 20 if you just like followed a walkthrough or something and just really stuck to it and didn't bother with a lot of the side stuff. But yeah, it's like you said. I mean, technically you could. If you went and found the right weapons and got really lucky and were super good at the combat, you could go kill Ganon right now. But it would be difficult.
I haven't even found a shirt above the junky, like, hey, it looks like it's torn at the seams, but it'll do for now.
Right. There's clothing shops in the towns, and there's
you can dye them
armor and
different
stuff.
colors.
You can even
Or
dye
yellow.
them all yellow if you want.
Can I dye everything purple?
You can. Yeah, you can.
Yes.
There is purple.
At least it's not yellow.
Yeah, anything but yellow, Cat.
I didn't like it,
please.
but then I didn't care enough to change. I'm just like, that doesn't look like I wanted it to, but fuck it.
Because it's a gross
Like,
mustard
Tyler
color.
will hate this.
Can confirm. I hated it a lot. Made me angry.
Hey, not mine.
Well, cool. Well, I will. As much as you want to talk about Zelda, you have a platform to do it because I love talking about this game. So I'm glad you're playing it. I'm taking a break from it for now until the next DLC pack comes out. I've kind of decided to just let my defeat
Let it simmer.
Let it simmer.
I saw something in the video that I have a question about.
Sure.
I didn't realize when I was playing it that both the Switch and the controller, like, you can.
Your phones are doing things.
Yeah, that you can move your controller and it moves the bow and arrow.
Yes.
Is there a way to make that steadier? Because my hands shake.
You can turn it off. I don't think there's a sensitivity to it, though.
Okay.
It's either on or off, I'm pretty sure.
I just use that for the very fine aiming, where it's, like I use the analog stick to get 95% of the way there, then use that to, like put the crosshairs on the goblin's face instead of his arm.
I don't have steady hands for the fine motor stuff like that. I do for large motor, but not fine motor. So it's like it takes me forever to aim perfect.
It's an acquired skill, and you don't really have to be perfect.
Yep.
Can you hunt?
You can.
Okay.
Kill all kinds of stuff. Boars and foxes and
Okay.
deer and sorry Mike.
Yeah, sorry, Mike.
And there's fish that you can catch with your bare hands. You just
What?
snatch them right out of the water.
Yeah, I tried to go after a fox, and I had the skeleton hand, and I'm still learning the controls, and I accidentally just chucked it at him, and he ran off.
Yeah, she's having the same thing you complained about, Tyler, where it's like press A, and then she cancels out of the menu.
Yes.
The first week that I owned my Switch, I was just every single day going, God damn it, can I just
This is
remap
not
the
mapped
fucking
like your Xbox.
buttons? Yep, it made me so angry. And then I got used to it. And then I went to go watch something on Netflix on the Xbox upstairs, and I kept exiting out of everything because I kept hitting B instead of A.
Where it is,
Yep. Why can't they make it like a
Like a universal.
Universal, because I find it very frustrating. I can't tell you how many times I've probably spent more times going in and out of menus than anything else because I hit the wrong button.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, they're all competitors. They want to have it their own, their own special touch on it. I remember when the
gaming doesn't have to be
PlayStation
special; it has to be functional.
first came out. I'm like, what the fuck? Square, circle, triangle? What are you doing? What do you have shapes for your buttons?
The buttons have letters. We know what they're called. Yeah. If you could just remap them, I'd be happy, but you can't. So it's a bummer. But yeah, Breath of the Wild. Get it now, everybody. Get it while it's hot. I'm gonna let Brian talk about Pyre.
Pyre.
Before I do, I have to ask an important question.
Oh yes.
Is Pyre one syllable or two?
It's. I think it's 1.5. Can you have halves?
Not one of the choices.
Pyre. It's either one long syllable or
Pyre.
I don't think you would say pyre. I don't think you would say pyre like that. I think you'd just say pyre.
Can you say fire?
Fire. Pyre.
2 syllables?
Is it
though? Well, liar. Pyre. Liar.
Liar. Shit. He's a liar. Pyre. All right, I don't care. Anyway, Pyre. There's a dog with a mustache. Okay.
There is a dog with a mustache.
I already don't care.
Real good mustache.
He does have a fine mustache.
There is a website called howmanysyllables.com.
Of course there is.
I'm waiting on pins and needles. It says 1?
1.
I don't think I agree, but that's
Pyre confirmed.
I don't think you can see it. No.
Yeah.
It's a phone.
There's just a bright light on the screen. Well, this looks pretty, other than a stupid mustache dog.
Pyre.
Yes, there are multiple races in this game.
Okay. Oh, dog is a race?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. All right.
And you saw the lady with the demon horns. There's,
yeah, I did.
Sort of harpy type people there. Some imps. You know.
Right. I'm an albino lady with some sticks.
You like Jody?
Real melting pot.
Is that her name? Jody?
Mm-hmm.
Joe Dario. Oh yeah. Sorry.
Yep.
Anyway, continue.
So it's the latest from Supergiant.
Supergiant Games.
Who did Bastion and Transistor.
Okay.
So they really know how to do world building, and they really nailed it with this one for me. Like I've engaged with the story in this game much more than I expected. Usually the story's just the crap that I skip through to get to the game systems.
Can confirm.
Mm-hmm.
Where I dig the story, and that's the one thing that got me into it after I played it for a little bit too.
Yeah, all my favorite games this year have had strong stories. That's kind of been the thing that ties them together. But this is a choose-your-own-adventure space basketball game.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, the space basketball is going to be the thing that loses people. It's very story-heavy. It's probably 75% story, 25% interactive gameplay.
Okay.
So in this story, you are exiles that have been cast out from their homeland for various reasons. Some deserved, some not deserved, and you have to participate in these rites to try to win your freedom back. To escape this exiled plane and get back to your home world. That's kind of the whole vibe here. Your character is a reader. So she's one of the few who can actually read, because reading has been outlawed. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Okay.
You participate in these rites, these 3v3, basically basketball-like games.
Yeah,
to try to win your freedom back.
Yeah, the whole reason you get caught up with these guys, or they're like, we need somebody who can read, and you can choose whether you're like straightforward with them, like, yeah, I can read, or it's like, don't say anything, or deny you can read. So I don't know what differences that stuff makes, but it's pretty neat that you can choose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of different branching ways the story can go.
Is that a little demon bird? Sorry. There's like a little, looked like a little demon bird.
Yeah, he's a little imp.
Okay, sorry.
Yep.
No,
Yeah, you get a pretty wide variety of characters in this game. You can turn the difficulty down for the space basketball if that's not your thing, because I can see that being a deal breaker. Like, it's unique and it's neat and it is kind of fun, but it gets really intense.
I'm skipping forward to try to find some space basketball.
Yeah, I think it was like 11 minutes into my video.
Okay, yep.
I want to say it was.
So everything else is just kind of leading up to, well, I shouldn't say it like that. These events are kind of like interspersed between the story then.
Yeah, like a lot of it is like traveling from place to place, where it's like, all right, we have to go here to this, this area and fight this team. And then like when the stars are right, then we know that it's time for the big, like the big, like the rights, the big, someone's going to get to go home match.
Interesting. So there's other teams, just like space basketball teams.
Basically, yep. You've got a roster of people that you choose, 3 people for each match. And when you're in the big matches, like if you win, you send one of your people back home, so you lose them permanently.
Interesting. So when you're playing one of these, when you're in the middle of a match, are you switching between other characters on the fly? Are there 3 out at the same time, or is it like?
Isn't there usually 2?
At the beginning, you pick which 3 are going to be in the match, and then you can switch control between those 3.
Okay.
So like you're controlling whoever's got the ball, but you can pass the ball. So you're trying not to get hit by the other team. You're trying to throw or just run the ball into their Pyre.
Gotcha.
Their Pyre.
Their Pyre. Got it. Well, okay. All right. That's interesting.
Makes more sense to see it in motion than it is to explain it. But
sure.
Yeah, you got 3 teammates trying to get the ball into the other team's goal.
This looks so cool. Like, just the whole look and feel of it is very, very, very well done.
Very impressive. It's better than I had thought it might be. Like, I played Transistor and I loved the world they built in Transistor, but the gameplay didn't keep me glued to it. But I finished this, like I started and finished it this week. I finished it all in a few days. I think it was like 15 hours I put in, maybe.
That is really cool.
I like Headwind.
This is sorry, I'm just kind of quietly watching it because the animation like just flows so smoothly and everything. Just
I think you'd probably get into the gameplay too. Like, it's got a little bit of like playing a MOBA. I don't know. I think that's a little bit relevant here. You've got fast-moving allies on a field battling each other. It's some of those skills transfer.
Gotcha. This is cool.
You got some skill shots.
Yeah, this is interesting. It reminds me a bit of, there was a game that came out on the Xbox Live thing. I don't think they call it the arcade anymore, but whatever the version of that is now. It was called iDarb, and it was like you're throwing it was like a 2D platformer thing, but you're trying to throw this ball into the other team's net, goal thing, whatever. It looked a lot like this. It had kind of a similar look and feel to it.
Yeah, I think this is going to drive me crazy.
Put it on easy, just so the matches aren't.
That's what I did.
Super challenging. And like if you lose a match, like it's not game over, try again. It's just, you lost a match, keep going.
The other ones that you're not controlling, do they just freeze, or does the AI pick them up eventually? Or?
No, they just freeze.
Interesting.
So eventually, I started noticing like the enemy team would go after stationary ones, and I'd have to switch back to them real quick to try to keep them safe.
That's cool. That's real cool. Yeah,
It's
I'll
one
try
of the
this.
best games I played this year. I'm very impressed with it.
And that's not, that's no bullshit. You've played a lot of games this year that have been really good, so that's Persona 5 is up there. You've Zelda's up there. Like, you've played a lot of the big ones.
Yep.
Horizon, all of those. So that's cool that this is in company with those.
Should probably be in my top 5 for the year, I would say.
That's awesome. Cool, man. Well, I'm gonna check that out. It seems like the story is something I can definitely dig. The whole there's one last great city, and it's kind of this totalitarian thing, and
yeah, their world building is really good.
Yeah, it seems interesting. I just love the different characters. They have some really interesting character design going on.
Oh yeah, I would love this with some puzzle. This would be just right up my alley if it had puzzles and not basketball.
I think you'll still get into the story,
just
though.
Think about the basketball like a type of puzzle that you have to complete.
Yeah.
Oh, Tyler.
It's like a shrine.
It's an orb. It's an orb placing puzzle. You got to place the orb on the pedestal.
Yeah, and it's a puzzle because you got to figure out how to do it around the. Okay, I know that look. All right. Well, Pyre, get it now.
Pyre.
Get it while it's out. Get it. Don't get too close to the fire. Don't be a liar. Enjoy Pyre. All right.
There it is.
I would like to take this opportunity to tell you guys about something you may not have heard of. It's a little game called Diablo 3, and I'm still playing the ever-loving shit out of it.
What?
What is it?
It's really good.
What is it? Never heard of it.
Yeah, exactly. I know. It's hard to believe. I don't know, guys. It's what I want to be doing. It's the right level of brainless yet well thought out. Like I have gotten to a really good place with the build that I've chosen. My Crusader has 5 different sets now that I can swap between and work on at any time, and they all have different meanings, like different things, different uses. I was not wanting to go to bed after Brian and I played Heroes last night, so I stayed up and played more Diablo. And
nice.
There was a guy who, like, there's different chat channels you can join in the game, and one of them is a power leveling group. So people join it to basically say, like, hey, can you please power level me? And then, some generous soul decides to run them through a few rifts and get them leveled up. So I said, I'm going to return the favor. I'm going to pay it forward. I'm going to repay my debt to this community, and decided to run a couple people through. And it was pretty fun.
Did you like it?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. You go through on Torment 6. I think that's the highest that you can do. It's the highest that a brand new character can do right out of the gate. And it was neat. Like once we got to 70, a puzzle ring dropped. So I was like, I didn't tell him about it at first. I was just like, hey, there's one more thing we can do after this. And then I showed him the vault, which has the greed boss and all the gold and stuff. He was like, I've never seen this before. This guy hadn't played neat. since like back during the original game. He came back. Yeah, he came back for the Necromancer DLC and had a Necromancer, but he'd like just barely scratched the surface with him. And he was like, yeah, I like the Necro, but I played a Barbarian before, and that's what I want. And I was like, cool. And since I was a Crusader, all the strength gear was dropping, and I was just like, well, this is garbage to me, tossing it out. And he's like, that ring's awesome, and like getting really excited about the stuff that I was just chucking on the ground for him. It was a cool feeling.
Neat.
Yeah, it was fun to be able to do that.
Easy for people to be so jaded with this, where it's like, I've played 1,200 hours, I don't give a fuck, I've seen everything, just get me to the, give me my levels, give me my gear, and let me log off, I don't give a shit. Like, there's a degree of joylessness surrounding this for a lot of people, I think.
Yeah. Yep, and I can see how, even people who are, really into the game and, want to get to that end game progression can still feel like that about the beginning of it.
Feel like a chore sometimes. Like I remember going to the casino and seeing people sitting in front of the slot machines. It's the same thing. It's just lose, win big, lose, win. The expression never changes. It's just like, yep, slot.
It's all part of this thing. Yeah, yeah. So it was really cool. The guy wound up adding me to his BattleNet friends, and I accepted and was like, yeah, man, if you're ever around, we'll hang out and do stuff. And it was cool. It was a cool thing to do. So
yeah, it's neat.
I don't know. I might do some more of that. That felt pretty good. I felt like a badass Santa Claus. So
I think we need to gear up because I can't. I don't think I can handle Torment 6.
Yeah, well, anytime you want to, I am more than happy to to jump in there and play.
I have my
enjoy the
full
game.
set finally, my one set.
You haven't got to play with it much, have you?
No, but there's another set I want to get that has to go with Exploding Palm as well.
Yeah, I showed you the magic of that one.
Yeah, that was pretty epic.
There's one I have where it's all built around just getting through places as quick as you can. Like he doesn't
Like
even
speed?
have like, yeah. So that horsey skill I have where you can jump on a horse and ride it around, that basically doesn't have a cooldown as long as I
So
do
you
damage
just charge,
with it.
charge.
So I just hit it like every time it ends, I just hit it again and
Find elites. Just
find elites and then just drop bombardment on them and explode them really quick and try to kill them with my thorns damage and then suck up the. It also has parts of the sage set which make everything drop an extra death's breath. So if it drops 1, it drops 2. If it drops 2, it drops 3.
What's your what's been your fastest run then? You know?
I don't know because like it's weird because that one I don't have the best gear for. I don't. It's not completely optimized, but it's good for death's breath farming in groups. Like I can just kind of run and scout with it, and then by the time I find something, everyone else is caught up to me, and we just nuke everything into smithereens. I usually use it for doing normal rifts, so it's not timed as much. But yeah, I'm working my way up there on the main set, the one that I'm trying to push the greater rifts with. I think I'm up to 55, but I could easily clear 60, I'm sure. Pretty sure I could probably do a 70 with that set, but I just haven't got there yet. Yeah, it's good. Diablo 3 is better than it's ever been. It's just as great as always. So, yeah, I'm still way into it. That's been my thing that I've been playing, and we've been playing Heroes still too, but not a whole lot new to report other than Garrosh is in the game and he's a bastard man.
Yeah, he's not fun to have around.
Yeah, I
gotta watch where you stand.
It's a new character to learn the danger zones with, and his danger zone is basically if you can see him, he's dangerous to you.
Really?
He can pull you to him and then flip you over him behind you.
Oh God.
Yep.
Yep. So a lot of times you show
Can they
up.
flip you right into their base and be like, "Yep, you're
over the gate." Yep.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
So he's truck. He's tough.
He is.
He is a truck too. But yeah, I got to get my hands on him so I can. I got to try him out so I can. That's how I learn how to play against other heroes. Is I purchase them either through gold or money, and then I play them up until level 5 or 10, and then I know what they can do.
Yep. If you think someone's broken, then you play as them, and then learn what defeats you, and figure out what you hate.
Yep.
So
Realize all the ways that you're not broken.
Like, I know what he hates.
Yep. Yeah, that's all I got for that. Brian, you had another one here called, is it West of Loathing? Is that the one?
Yes. Yep. I wish Luke was here. This one's for Luke.
I'm sorry.
So
I'm sorry. For those of you who are listening and can't see, it's just black and white stick figure drawings of everything, and it says slop meat on the screen. So there you go. I'm setting the scene for you. It's just black and white stick figure drawings. There you go.
This is apparently the sequel to a long-running browser game called Kingdom of Loathing.
Okay.
That apparently has a large following, but I've never heard of. It's a Western RPG.
Poker?
It's very, very tongue-in-cheek. Like it's got this like Mel Brooks kind of sense of humor about everything. Yeah, like the combat's simple. There's a ton of dialogue and a lot of story and a lot of items to find. The game's just a goddamn blast. It's super fun. I did not want to stop playing this.
You got some weird games.
You should try it. It's really good.
Okay, all right.
It's a big old world to explore. The dialogue is genuinely funny more often than not, which is hard to pull off.
Boy, it sure isn't trying very hard, though, is it? In the visual department, it's
no, but it's got its own charm.
Yeah. Yep. Times New Roman font, just fucking. Oh my god, a horse. Okay, all right, I get it now. I think I get it.
Yep.
You gain effect angry. That's good.
It's a funny, entertaining little game. There's a lot of variety in what you see and do, and all the combats and areas are pretty short, so you're always just a few minutes away from the next thing. And
it's good. Dirt water.
If you're not put off by reading and words,
I don't
definitely
know.
give it a look.
I don't like most of those things.
Yeah, words are hard.
I like my words to be said, not read. I just made that up right on the spot.
Every bar you go to, there's a spittoon there, and there's always something in the spittoon to find, and the descriptions as you search through it are just wonderful. Where it's like, oh, we're here again. Are we doing this again? You're gonna stick your hand in this again? Okay, here we go. It's it's brown and bubbling, and it just feels like death, and you feel like vomiting all over yourself. Are you gonna keep searching? You are. Okay.
Dirt water, bourbon.
Good
Gold.
stuff.
Yep, you can be it's a cow puncher. It's one of the classes.
Cow puncher. Okay. Yep.
I can't remember, the other two are evading me right now, but yep, it's got the fighter, rogue, wizard. It's just super goddamn fun.
You got some sweet smelling flowers there.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Boy, howdy.
That looks pretty great.
And yes, I chose the horse with the googly eyes.
Yeah, that cracked me right up when I saw that. It just came out and the horse is sitting there, just eyes bouncing all around every direction. That's real good. Well, Brian, so was this money? Did you have to pay money for this?
It was
Okay.
$10 on Steam.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, worth every penny.
Did you name him Leon Oakley?
No, it gives you some random names. I thought that was a good Western name.
Leon Oakley. I'm here to chew tobacco and ride a horse with googly eyes.
Yeah, this conversation on the screen. I could be the sheriff. Do you have law experience? No. Have you been to sheriff school? No. Do you know the local government or the area? No. What makes you think you're qualified to be our sheriff?
I just
assumed. Because this is a video game and you don't have a sheriff.
Yeah. I could be
It
that.
happens all the time.
I like when they kind of throw the video game tropes back at you a little bit. That's always
There's
always
a
fun.
lot of that.
We sure do need a sheriff. Well, I guess you're here and you got blood in you.
Yep.
I guess you'll do. Yeah, you got a lot of meat on you. 550 of the meat.
It's a lot of meat.
It's a lot of meat.
That's what they say about Brian Maxwell. He's got the meat.
Yeehaw.
Yeah. Well, there we go. What's it called again? West of Loathing.
West of Loathing.
West of Loathing. Yeah. That's pretty cool. Is that it? Is that all the games? I think it's all the
I
games.
think that's all the games.
I'm sorry, I did not play much. I'm gonna try
Well,
to get into some more. Yeah.
I played Stardew, but there's nothing new there.
More of that farming.
I think it's always just implied that Heroes was played and Stardew Valley was played.
Yeah.
We don't have to list them or talk about them. It's just, they happen every week.
Diablo's about to be there too for me, but yeah. Well, let's jump into the news. This still goes for too long. I still need to fix this. There we go. Alright, news. Brought to you by Rick and Morty. Sundays at 11, I think. Or sometime around then. I don't know, I'm just really excited about Rick and Morty, guys.
AdultSwim.com.
Yeah, it's a free plug. The show is brilliant. Pickle Rick. That's all. That's all I got to say about that.
Rick! I just saw that.
I'm gonna throw this one in here first, just because I don't know where the rest of my news stories went. So hey, it turns out, breaking news. This just happened at like 3:30. Apparently, a bot developed in part by Elon Musk for some reason. This AI company that he started has developed an AI that beat a professional Dota 2 player at Dota 2. So this is different than just like the in-game AI that you would find in Heroes or other games like this. This was like a little AI machine thing that learned how to play Dota 2 by playing against itself. So like they just hooked it up to the game, and basically it played matches against itself until it got to pro level, and then they just unleashed it on this guy Dendy, and it kicked his ass.
Yeah, I can see that. When your opponent does X, you do Y.
Yo, it's just cool to me that they can go in like, well, it's cool and scary because the other half of this is Elon Musk has been a very big proponent of like, we need to figure out this problem, because if we don't, it will be the undoing of humanity. Which is kind of the premise of Westworld and other things such as that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, Dendy, who is like one of the most famous Dota 2 players in the world, did this at the International. They like set this up during their big Dota International event. And yeah, in front of the whole world, it just wiped the floor with them.
What was his response to it? Was he like surprised? Was he like, holy shit?
He said on Twitter, he said, the bot is really fun and challenging to play against. I'm sure it is possible to beat it, but I have no room for even slight mistakes. So he was basically saying, like, I think he was quoted as well as saying, like, he needs some time to practice against it, because I guess it just predicts everything. Like, and it's not cheating either. That's the other part of this, is like a lot of the AI in games, like the way it becomes difficult is it just reads the input that you're putting into it and reacts to it,
Oh yeah, it's
the best that it can.
The old Civilization, AI problem where you crank it up to hard, and well, they're just manufacturing armies faster than they should be able to,
right?
To make it artificially challenging. Yeah, it's not that.
Just dodging skill shots and stuff because it already knows what input is coming in, so it just moves you out of the way. But yeah, this is different. It's an actual learning thing that's playing the game. I don't know. It's cool and scary, and I don't know. I just hope they keep doing shit like this to show the power of things like this. I guess they said that the only reason they were able to do it was they were using Microsoft's Azure cloud computing platform. And Elon Musk said it just required massive processing power to do this. So we don't have to worry about our iPhones rising up against just quite yet, but
not yet. Dang it.
It's getting there. It's getting there. Something we need to watch for. So yeah, there's that. Brian, you had something in here about Hellblade drama. What's up with that?
Hellblade is a game about a woman in a Norse clan who undergoes something traumatic. I haven't played it, so I don't know all the details, but I know she's got like PTSD, and she's got this like psychosis where she's having auditory hallucinations, and they treat that like very responsibly. Like, I guess they had a psychiatrist, on staff to, like talk them through what the experience is actually like. So they try to get it as close to real as possible. But so you'll be hearing voices talking to you throughout the game that are often lying to you. And I guess early in the game, they strongly hint that if you die too much, your save file will be deleted. And people had a big hissy about that, and I'm never playing this game if it's going to delete my save file. And
paranoia.
And well, right, like some people are like, well, maybe that's just like an extra layer of the game, like it's being meta about like you're paranoid and you're being lied to, and the game's going to lie to you about what's going to happen if you die, and it's supposed to kind of up the tension, and I'm not sure if that's what it was. Like, I saw a report, I think GameSpot played it, and they're like, yeah, we died like 50 times in a row, and nothing happened. And I don't know, other people are like, no, it happened to me. And so I'm not sure if it's a real thing or not, but I think it's a neat idea. It's like it's a neat way to play into, the game's theme. I haven't played it yet, but
this makes me want to play it more. Like, to be honest, like, just that there's this kind of thing where it's not really clear, is this something real or not? Like, I want to just try it for myself and see how it
looks.
See how it
novel
strikes me.
And very well done from the gameplay I've seen. I don't think I will enjoy the video game elements of it from what I've seen. Like, the combat looks very, block and dodge and roll. I don't think there's a whole lot of combat. I don't think combat's the point of it, but like, the combat doesn't look fun to me. And I'm told kind of the weak point is there are areas where it's like you need to, run through this area and get out of it in time or you die. And that's not super fun.
I hate
but
that stuff.
I think everything else looks good enough to,
Yeah, I mean,
despite that.
That exists in Mario too. Like, there's the scrolling levels where you can't. Yeah. So I mean, I'm not gonna rip the game too hard for that kind of stuff because I think those are interesting mechanics if they're done well and it's not just that over and over and over again. So yeah, I mean, everything that I saw leading up to it just looked like a really atmospheric, very it didn't look like a thriller so much as just like a very tense, very overwhelming.
Like a serious.
Yeah, very serious tone. Like, this isn't not playing this because I want to get a high score or because like seeing boobies and seeing heads come off is really cool. Like, it seems like it's trying to take some pretty heavy themes and really lean into them. So I want to play it. And if it has permadeath, that's cool. Like, I don't know. I don't know. That kind of thing intrigues me in a game if that's the main mechanic. The fact that this is kind of like an Easter egg thing maybe is... It doesn't bother me at all. I can't understand... Well, every time I say that... I can't understand the outrage, but I'm not surprised that there is outrage about it. So, there you go. Take that for what you will. This one's gonna take a second to queue up. Valve announced a new game, you guys.
Wait, what was it?
Hold on.
Portal 3? It was Portal 3. Did they announce Portal 3?
Ooh, I don't want to. Have you not seen this
Half-Life?
yet?
Was it a new? Is it a new Half?
I mean, it's Valve. So, like, what do we know about Valve? We know Half-Life,
Team Fortress.
Team Fortress. We know Portal. We know Dota 2. I mean. Those are some pretty big names. Hold on.
Which one is it?
Brian, I'm just going to let you experience this, the way everyone else did. Here we go. Called Artifact. It's a Dota card game.
What's Dota?
It's
it's
a MOBA, like League of Legends or Heroes.
Okay. What's it stand for?
Defense of the Ancients. Okay. It was a Warcraft 3 mod, and we couldn't hear it.
Why are you making a card game?
Because money.
That's what everyone else was wondering too in the crowd there. So Kat, you couldn't hear it, but they have like this like big title thing, and like violin music, and then it says Artifact in this like triangle symbol on the screen. It looks really cool, and then underneath the words "the Dota card game" come up, and the whole crowd goes, "Ah!"
Yeah,
I can feel that because really,
it's
Valve owns Steam, so there's no reason for them to make another video game ever, because Steam makes them just a shit ton of money.
Yeah, and
that's just disappointing. Portal 3, come on.
It just seems like this is, hey, Hearthstone's doing really well, or well enough.
We've already got a marketplace that people buy and sell on.
I mean, they watched Elder Scrolls do this. They watched The Witcher do this with Gwent. Like, there's a million CCGs out there, and
Me too.
You know,
Steam Marketplace. I think that's the driving thing. They want people to, sell singles on the marketplace. Rares, foils, ultra rares, double ultra rares.
we should have seen this coming with the Steam trading cards, is what you're saying. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I just don't give any of the shits about that. Apparently, they're gonna try to incorporate like a 3-lane system, and there'll be
creeps.
5 heroes and creeps spawning, and it's gonna try to do some things that sound like MOBA things, and I just don't care at all. So,
Nope.
Congratulations on the new money machine that you just announced, Valve, and I'm sure it will make you a lot of money, and maybe someday you can take a little chunk of that and just go make Half-Life 3 or Portal 3 or something.
Something people are excited to play.
Yeah, there you go. And hey, you know what? Since we just love good news here, just all the happy things. The game that I've been hyping for the last, I don't even know how long, Shadow of War, it's gonna have loot boxes. Yay! Right? Isn't that the response that the whole internet had? Isn't that good?
Fun. That's something I want in all my video games.
No loot boxes in a single player
Can there
game?
be timers where you use up all your attack points and you have to wait for your energy meters to refill?
Can I please use real money to buy an in-game currency that I can then use on the loot boxes?
Bypass those timers, yeah.
Oh, well, that's good. Maybe I can turn my money into gems or gold, and then it won't feel as weird when I spend it on chests in the game. Okay, so real talk. The thing is, yes, there's going to be loot boxes. They will contain in-game items and XP boosts. They will not contain anything that you cannot get through playing the game normally. So that does quell some of the...
A little bit of the concerns.
A little bit of the concerns. They did announce that there is some kind of competitive online mode, though, to this game as well, which I have no idea what that's going to look like or how that's going to work, but in theory, this could mean that you could pay for loot chests to, get to that competitive level quicker, which is kind of lame. Also, I'm not going to be playing this game to be competitive at all. I'm going to play a single player game. So to me, loot chests, if they happen like for playing the game too, then cool. If they're just something to buy, I'm not going to buy any. So there you go.
I can understand it because, obviously this stuff makes money. So the developers are going to look at it and say, well, like, we're leaving money on the table if we don't do this.
Yeah,
that's going to be the end of the argument for them. Is it going to make them more money than it costs them? Yeah, okay, do it.
I'm sure that there's meetings that are had where they try to decide, like, is this going to piss off enough people to matter, or is it, are most people going to be like this guy and just be like, whatever, it's loot boxes, I don't care.
Yeah. Make it something that's it's benign enough to where people like you and me can get past it.
Yep, I can hold it this far away and still enjoy the game, and then if I ever decide that I am in the market for a loot chest and really want one, I can decide to engage with that at my leisure, but it's not required. So, yeah, I'm into that.
My problem, I don't know, with it in a single player game is I don't want it popping up anywhere to remind me that, hey, you could get out your credit card right now and buy stuff for your Lord of the Rings game. Like, I don't want that part of the world in my single player game. I want to be absorbed in the game. I don't want to, think about that distasteful, ugly aspect of it. But
yeah, I'm with you there, and there's just so much of this that I want to see it before I try to cast too much judgment on it, because if
it's going to be there, put it at the on the start menu, and And that's it. Like, I don't want to go to a vendor in the game and, have it pop up where it's like, hey, you can also buy this for this special currency.
Right.
Click here to open up a browser and enter your credit card information. Who knows?
Yeah. I have my fucking computer sending me text messages like, hey, your loot chest is ready.
Yeah.
It's time to open that loot chest.
They're 20% off today, Tyler. Hurry.
Fuck. Yeah, I don't love it, but god damn it, like, I'm gonna play this game. They're not gonna talk me out of it. I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna enjoy it. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be really good. I know it. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I guess we'll see.
It just feels like it's getting a step closer to Hollywood, where it's just, we're gonna make soulless shit because it's just gonna make a lot of money, and can't argue with the money making people, but boy, it doesn't feel good. I think there's an indie scene, in gaming where it's, it's like the equivalent of art house films.
Well, this will be a very good way to gauge how this stuff affects it. So,
how much of a backlash there is.
Well, yeah, I mean, Shadow of Mordor came from nowhere. Like, WB is a big studio, but no one expected that game to be good. In 2014, like,
licensed properties usually, yeah.
Right. And that game came out to critical acclaim. It did super well. It won a ton of Game of the Year awards. It was my favorite game that year. Nobody even was expecting that. Like, look, I pre-ordered War in the North. Okay, I was that guy. Like, I'm way into Lord of the Rings, and I will play even garbage games just to play them.
What is it? War in the North?
War in the North. Yeah, it was like a, I don't know if Baldur's Gate's not the right word. It's trying to think of what kind of gameplay it was. You had like 3 playable characters that were in your party at all times, and you could switch between them. It was a third-person kind of action game set in the Lord of the Rings universe. Came out probably in like 2011, 2010, somewhere in there, I want to say. I don't know. It was weird. It wasn't great. It was kind of an RPG. It was kind of not.
I'm getting that vibe.
Yeah, it was more an action game, more of like a hack and slash style game. But it didn't get great reviews. I liked it because, hey, more Lord of the Rings, but it was, it was kind of the same idea. It was like we're telling a story that is not part of the main stuff that gets tread in the books and the films. It was kind of doing its own thing.
I'm looking at screenshots. It's an action RPG. This looks reminiscent of the time when games like God of War and Darksiders were like really popular. This looks kind of like one of those, running around, beat up a lot of shit.
It felt different than those. Like it almost had that BioWare RPG element to it, where there was a lot of dialogue trees, a lot of going to towns and dealing with different people and taking on quests and stuff. I mean, so there was a lot of that, and it was well enough, made. It's
fine. It
was fine. Yeah, it was just fine. But Shadow of Mordor is kind of the same idea. It was just executed much better in my opinion. So if they go from that, where, hey, everything you did people loved, and we just kind of want more of that, and then you fuck all of this nonsense into this game and make it suck, then I can, put it on a pike and be like, look what you've done. It's the Hobbit all over again. It's the fucking Hobbit movies.
Yeah, they're both Hobbit, yeah.
You had a good thing, Peter Jackson. What are you doing, man?
Yeah, wounded me.
We'll see. I'll judge come October, okay? Once I've played it, I'll let you know. You can hear it straight from the horse's mouth. All right.
October. Is it coming out on the same day as Mario Odyssey and everything else? Is it October 27th?
It might be. Oh, no, I think it's like the 7th.
Oh, well, there you go.
October, Shadow of War. Let's see. October 10th.
Okay, give you a couple weeks.
Yeah. Yep. There we go. I'll be slaying Balrogs and getting loot chests. October 10th.
Hope you get some rare drops, Tyler.
Fuck, Brian. God damn it. Let's
Get that XP boost?
let's not talk about it. Let's not talk about it. Okay, we're just gonna pretend it's gonna be a great game. The story's gonna be really good. The voice acting.
Maybe get some new voice lines.
Get
some sprays.
Fuck. God damn it.
Aragorn can run out there and lop on Hook's head.
No.
Spray a little symbol next to him.
Shit. He tags the fucking building before he takes it down. Just no, I don't want it. Customizable banners, fucking weed leaf orcs running around. Just
Aragorn420BlazeIt.
There's our show title.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, guys, girls, friends, I think that's gonna probably do it for this week, huh? Here comes the music. I'm playing us out. You can email the show. You can email us. You can email the show and us at mail@questlogcast.com.
Don't limit yourself.
Yeah. You can find the show at questlogcast.com. You can stream it right then and there. Video and audio versions. You can also get it on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play Music. All those great places where podcasts are served. I'd like to give a special shout out to the guys that weren't here tonight. Luke Phillips and Aaron Kringer, I think, are both camping right now at the same place but separately, so it's not weird at all.
Seems a little weird.
It's a little weird. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you, it's a little bit weird. But we wish them well, and maybe you'll hear from them next week, or maybe you won't. I mean, you'll have to tune in to find out. And we'll be here. We'll be here just talking about games, having a good time. Just loving life. And North Korea is not going to bomb us, so don't worry. It's fine.
Yeah, maybe we won't be here next week.
No. Yeah, maybe. That'll be fine, too. Good night, everybody. Have a great day. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you later.